You're scrolling through your feed at 1:43 a.m. No one's messaged. No one's online. You've watched every reel, liked every post, replied to every story you didn't really care about. And still, you feel nothing. Not even sad. Just hollow. That's the funny thing about loneliness, it rarely arrives as drama. It's quieter than that. It slips in like background noise, soft but relentless. And while most people imagine loneliness as just being alone, that's not really it. You could be in a room full of people, laughing, nodding, surrounded by friends, and still feel it clawing behind your ribs. According to some studies, over 33% of people globally report feeling lonely often or always. That's 1 in 3. And yet, we don't talk about it. Loneliness isn't just a feeling. Psychologists define it as the space between the social connection you want and the connection you actually have. It's not about how many people are around, it's about how seen and understood you feel. That's why even a perfect life on paper, great job, a bunch of followers, even family nearby, can feel empty. Your brain isn't counting people. It's tracking meaning. And when it doesn't find it, it reacts hard. Biologically, loneliness activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. Literally, when you feel left out, your brain reads it the same way it would if you broke a bone. And just like chronic pain, chronic loneliness changes you. It increases cortisol, your stress hormone, weakens immunity, even rewires the brain to stay hyper-alert. Because once you're lonely long enough, your mind starts to expect rejection everywhere. Suddenly, even normal interactions feel like threats. It's not you being dramatic. It's your survival instincts misfiring. But here's where it gets interesting. Humans are wired to be social not just for company, but for survival. We evolved in tribes where isolation meant danger. Your ancestors didn't have Netflix. They had wolves and hunger and no backup if they got hurt. So your brain still treats disconnection like a red alert. And that raises the question, in a world where we're more digitally connected than ever before, why does it still feel like we're all drifting further apart? We built a world that connects us in milliseconds, but somewhere along the way it forgot to make us feel connected. Think about it. You can video call someone across the planet, see what your school friend is having for lunch, or share a meme that 400 strangers laugh at, and yet, rates of loneliness have never been higher. The tech was supposed to bring us together. But instead of bridging the emotional gap, it seems to have flattened it. See, social media gives us quantity, not quality. You get notifications, comments, reactions. But they're surface level, like eating candy when what your body actually craves is a full meal. The conversations feel shorter. The replies feel colder. And instead of reaching out for help, we post a vague story and hope someone gets it. That kind of connection burns fast and leaves you emptier when the screen goes dark. On a deeper level, this new hyper-connected world messes with our social instincts. Evolution designed us for eye contact, body language, silence between words. But now we scroll through highlight reels where everyone seems busy, fulfilled, surrounded by people. And your brain starts to think you're the outlier. That you must be the one left out. It's a cruel trick of perception. When everyone broadcasts their best moments, it makes your quietest ones feel like failure. And this isn't just emotional. It's physical. Loneliness has real, measurable effects on the body. Prolonged loneliness raises your risk of heart disease, strokes, even early death. Some scientists say chronic loneliness can be as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It shrinks sleep quality, fogs concentration, lowers your motivation, and deepens your anxiety. And the worst part? It becomes self-sustaining. The lonelier you feel, the more you withdraw. The more you withdraw, the harder it is to reconnect. It becomes a loop, one that feeds itself silently. But it's not always visible. That's the subtle horror of modern loneliness. It wears disguises. It looks like a busy life. It hides behind routines, small talk, even success. You can function perfectly on the outside while quietly disintegrating inside. And if that sounds familiar, you're not broken. You're reacting exactly as any human would when faced with disconnection in a world built on distraction. So here's the twist. Maybe loneliness today isn't just personal. Maybe it's structural. Maybe the way we've organized our lives around screens, around productivity, around convenience has accidentally designed lonely as the default setting. When an entire society starts living in emotional isolation, something shifts quietly but deeply. You start seeing it in how we talk or don't talk, in how group chats replace phone calls, how we say we should meet up sometime and never do. When millions feel the same invisible ache, it doesn't stay individual, it becomes culture. Loneliness starts to shape behavior. People stop taking social risks. They stop opening up even to close friends. We overthink replies, avoid invitations, ghost people not because we don't care, but because we don't know how to connect anymore without fearing rejection. And slowly, social confidence erodes. What used to feel natural, eye contact, real vulnerability, awkward silences, is now exhausting. That exhaustion builds a new kind of norm, detachment disguised as independence. And the consequences go deeper. Neurologically, when we're isolated for too long, the brain enters self-preservation mode. That means higher alertness, lower trust, and less empathy. Not by choice, by design. You stop seeing people as allies and start scanning them as threats. Communities fray. Polarization grows. Compassion fades. Because when you expect to be misunderstood, you stop trying to understand. Even creativity takes a hit. Studies show that feeling isolated reduces your ability to think broadly or imagine new futures. You get stuck in loops even mentally. And so, slowly, loneliness doesn't just dull our joy, it shrinks our potential. But here's the strange thing, all of this is reversible. The brain is elastic. It's designed to reconnect. And sometimes even the smallest act, eye contact with a stranger, a genuine "how are you," a call you've been putting off, can jolt you out of that loop. Still, if this quiet epidemic has been growing for decades in plain sight, what might a future shaped by chronic loneliness actually look like? If a future shaped by loneliness sounds bleak, that's only one side of the story. Because something powerful happens when we hit our emotional threshold, we start to wake up. We begin craving something deeper than content. Something warmer than a notification. Even if we don't say it out loud, the desire to feel real connection starts to bubble back to the surface. And slowly, we're seeing it. People are stepping outside their bubbles, just a little. Hosting dinners instead of sending emojis. Choosing phone calls over texts, even if it feels awkward. Creating tiny rituals, shared walks, open invite gatherings, checking in without a reason. It's not a revolution, but it's resistance. Against a culture that told us independence was strength, but forgot to mention that connection is survival. And here's the thing, science is on our side. Just one close bond can undo a lot of damage. It doesn't have to be a crowd. We're not wired for quantity, we're wired for depth. And when we reconnect, even imperfectly, our bodies respond. Stress goes down. Our sleep deepens. Our brain shifts back toward empathy, trust, curiosity. It's not magic. It's biology healing itself. The path out isn't grand or dramatic. It's quiet. A text sent instead of overthought. A slightly longer hug. A conversation where someone actually listens. These small gestures don't feel like much, but they're how cultures change. They're how we remember what it means to be human. So maybe loneliness isn't proof that we're broken. Maybe it's just a message. Clear, insistent, and hopeful. It's time to come back to each other.